Now on TalkSPORT Extra Time, a football story to get your mouth watering, to get your taste buds dancing, to get you absolutely drooling. Because as we know, many clubs are finding it increasingly difficult to balance the books, to stay out of the red and in the black. Because, of course, there is no ticket revenue, there's uncertainty over the future of football in the lower tiers. So Crawley Town, for it is them, have come up with an absolutely brilliant notion to tell us more about a football story that, as I've said, will set your mouth watering. Delighted to welcome to TalkSPORT Extra Time, Tom Allman, Crawley Town's General Manager. Good morning, Tom, and how the devil are you, sir?
Morning, I'm not bad, thank you. Yourself?
I'm very well indeed, thanks. And I'm not going to make light of this because I know that many football clubs are worried about their financial future. What's the kind of current state of Crawley Town with no games for, 3 months now, no ticket revenue?
Yeah, I mean, so as you say, we're sort of in the same boat as, pretty much all the clubs at the moment. We operate with a deficit anyway. So sort of operationally, it's always a challenge for us to try and break even anyway. You obviously then bring in the pandemic into play and it's, you're even more on the back foot. So, as you say, we've been looking to other ways to bring in some revenue and we think we might have stumbled across a good one.
Well, before we get onto that, let me ask you, if I may, about the kind of deficit you might be looking at, because I've heard the figure of even as much as £500,000 be mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the size of your club. We think that quite luckily for once, that the fact that we're a relatively small club in comparison to some of the teams in our league, that our deficit won't be as much as others. You know, obviously in League Two, you've got teams like Bradford and Plymouth that are all going sort of 16, 17, 18,000 a week.
Wow.
Our average crowd of 2.5. Obviously, everyone's got their own issues, but I think, you know, compared to a lot of other clubs, you know, touch wood, I think our deficit is a lot less than them. But I mean, even then, it's for us, season ticket refunds alone, you were talking just under sort of £100,000 anyway.
Wow. Because we are celebrating some of the small but beautiful clubs. We've spoken to Morecambe a couple of weeks ago, Macclesfield. I think I'm right in saying, again, with no disrespect, I think Crawley Town are the second smallest club in the EFL after Morecambe, aren't you?
Yeah, that's what we sort of to a certain extent pride ourselves off. You know, we are one of the smaller teams in the league that, you know, we had a decent season on the field this year, and the support we always get is always appreciated and has come through again during this pandemic. So, you know, we may be a small club, but we think we make up for it in a few different ways.
And like all clubs, you're very much part of the Crawley community. I've been along a few times, admittedly years ago, because for my sins, a long time ago, I was in Panto at Crawley at the Hall, the only time I've ever done Panto, so I'd catch the odd game then. So you're very much part of the community, and the notion you've come up with, or somebody has, to raise money, is a brilliant community-based idea. I've said it will make people's mouths water. Tell us what you're up to, Tom.
Yeah, so we've the long and short is we started a takeaway delivery service out of the stadium. So obviously we have catering units at the ground for match day, but obviously those are only used sort of once every other Saturday really during the season. So yeah, we were thinking we had the facilities to, you know, we have a kitchen on site, many kitchens on site, so why not try and put that to use and see if we can bring some revenue in. So we've got locally sourced burgers, homemade mac and cheese, milkshakes, all that sort of stuff. Got our own website so fans can order and come and pick up direct from the stadium. We're on UberEats. So, yeah, it's just it's a way of sort of, although you love to say it, take advantage of the situation we're in where people are being forced to largely stay inside and have to order online and see if we can just offer a bit of solace to the club, really. So
it's a kind of gourmet burger cheesecake takeaway, and it's called the Crawley Ballerz with a Z. Is that the best way to find it online?
Yeah, so it's Crawley Ballerz with a Z.co.uk online, and then obviously if you're local in Crawley, you can find us on Uber Eats. But yeah, no, you're right. It's sort of American style, comfort food, good food. You know, us all in the office, we've had many a taste test, so I can.
I bet you did. I bet you did.
Yeah.
Because I'm reading that you say it's very kind of New York deli type, you know, New York burger joint style, but it's also got a very Crawley twist because you've got, for example, I think the Joe Mac and cheese, macaroni cheese after defender Joe McNerney. And tell us about Reggie the Red, because this one, when I read about it in the papers yesterday, had me drooling. Reggie the Red is a burger with a lovely kind of spicy twist. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Reggie the Red is our club mascot. He's a Red Devil, also our nickname of Red Devils. So as you mentioned, we've sort of gone over a few sort of club cliche items. So as you mentioned, the Joe Mac and cheese, and then the Reggie's Red Hot Burger is as I say, a locally sourced patty, and then it's topped with sort of jalapenos, chilies, all the stuff to.
Oh.
It depends what you like, blow your head off or enjoy one of the two.
You see, at this time of the morning, that is making me absolutely quiver with hunger. That sounds absolutely fantastic. So what's the kind of catchment area we're talking about? People can turn up and pick it up themselves, obviously when it's safe to do so, but they can get it delivered by Uber, can they?
Yeah, so for the local area in terms of delivery, we're on UberEats. And then, as I say, we've got our own dedicated website. So the idea was initially, we knew that our sort of spike was going to come from the Crawley fans. And the response, we've been open exactly a week today. So that, the response has been really good from our fans. And the plan is that we'll just hopefully be able to expand out into the rest of Crawley, 3 bridges, and go from there, really.
Now, I've mentioned Joe McNerney. Also, your keeper, Glenn Morris, gets a name check on the menu because there's, I think, brilliantly titled the Glenn Morris Savour Deal in homage to the keeper. Have any other players turn up and moaned that they're not on the menu? Are they coming up with their own dish ideas for you, Tom?
We've had a few. So, as you mentioned Joe Mack and Glenn. We've got the Ashley Madison loaded chips. So towards the end of the season, he was scoring quite a few little dinks over the keeper. So that was one that sort of came quite easy. But we have had a few certainly want to get in on the menu. So if they can come up with some items that they think are bespoke and fit their name, then I'm sure we'll look at them.
And remind people where they can find out more and order more, because I think this is an idea that other clubs could easily follow suit with. Because you're right, if you've got the catering, the canteen, the cooking facilities, why not use them?
Exactly. Yeah. For anyone who's interested, it's www.crawleyballers.co.uk. That's Ballers with a Z. And then, if you're local in the Crawley area, you can find us on UberEats, again, by searching Crawley Ballerz.
Now, I've seen it in the papers. I presume you're advertising locally, are you? Are there any special offers for local people?
Yes, so we're going to be rolling out in the next few days some discount codes for fans to use. So obviously we'll be in touch with our season ticket holders so they can get some money off. But as I say, we're a week old today, so it's firmly we're learning every day, put it like that.
Brilliant stuff. And are the players banned from ordering this? Because I know there's a concern amongst against some sides about players coming back a little bit like me, a bit porky, with a balcony over the toy shop after lockdown. So are the players allowed to order this stuff, or do they have to do it under an assumed name?
Well, so we had Ashley Madison down promoting his loaded chips the other day, and he was asking if he could try it. And then as he was about to dig in, the manager John Yems came out of the tunnel. So I think he's been scarred for life. I don't think he'll be coming back. He's been
yellow carded on that one, Tom. Tom, you're a top man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time this morning. Great fun. That was Crawley Town's general manager Tom Allman with that brilliant left field, thinking outside the box way of raising money for clubs in these beleaguered times. And you heard about dining with the Devils, the Red Devils of Crawley Town. That is right here on TalkSport Extra Time. Go and check out the Crawley Ballerz if you're in the area.
It's been Jacobs here on TalkSport. You'll be fully aware that the situation has been really difficult on clubs lower down football's food chain, down in League 2 where it's all over. Money is incredibly tight and real worries about the future. But quite a few clubs have been inventive and opened up new revenue streams without the crowds coming in to watch the game, and that includes Crawley Town of League 2. Have done some brilliant work. They have basically become a very fine food delivery service, and it's going rather well, to the point where they think it may be a revenue stream once all this is over and they're back with crowds in the stadium again. Joining us now, the head of commercial, Joe Comper. Good afternoon, Joe.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so this just tell us a little bit about what you've been doing. It seems to have been working incredibly well.
Yeah, we've been looking at it as a potential revenue stream for a while, even before the virus sort of hit. And obviously, when the virus hit, our focus almost turned away from football, and it became about survival. And this was a way that we thought actually this could help us survive throughout the virus, but also post-virus help us become a bit more sustainable and help us compete with some of the bigger clubs in our league.
And we saw how desperate people were, having eaten home-cooked food or eating ready meals at home for sort of 10, 12 weeks. As soon as McDonald's opened, people were desperate, weren't they? So I'd imagine you've also had a lot of interest as well. People thinking, well, yeah, it'd be nice to get somebody else to cook my meal for a change.
Yeah, that's it. And we spent quite a long time looking at the quality of the food. So we thought we could put something out which is cheap to make and sell it at a price and make as much money, but then that's not going to last a long period of time. So we've actually looked at sort of working with local butchers. So again, we're supporting a local business who's probably struggling with the virus as well, and put something out which actually we're quite proud of. I think people would be surprised that a football club can produce what we've produced. So yeah, we're really happy with it.
It's called Crawley Ballerz. It's up on UberEats. That's a way of getting it, and you've kind of kept a lot of the things on the menu related to the club, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. So we've got a centre half called Joe McNerney. So we've produced Joe Mac and Cheese. Ashley Naderson, who's our sort of centre forward, he scored quite a few sort of chips over the keeper towards the end of the season before it got binned off. So we sort of the Nadersan chips. So yeah, we tried to sort of keep it quite light-hearted and keep it sort of still part of the football club.
For the goalkeeper Glenn Morris, the Glenn Morris Savour Deal. Which is the burger with cheese, chips, and a can of soft drink. So and Reggie's Red Hot Burger.
Yeah,
that's right. That's because of Reggie the Red, your mascot.
Yeah, that's right. And I think our fans have really got behind it as well, which is great. I think because it's almost a separate entity in itself, but we have kept it as part of the football club, and the fans have really got behind it. I think they appreciate what we're trying to do, and yeah, we're really grateful for their support.
And the food, you're right, the food does sound quality. The two cheesecakes, the New Yorker and the authentic San Sebastian, sounds good. And they're all homemade, aren't they, by your chefs?
Yeah, so we actually we don't do our catering in-house normally. So we actually brought in a couple of chefs to sort of run the takeaway, and one of their things we sort of saw it as a burger and chips, if you like, quite traditional. But they come in and said, "Oh, we make really good cheesecakes," and we was like, "All right, cool." So they put some together, and we very quickly added that to the menu because really good quality cheesecakes. So we've chucked that on as well.
So how can is it only just in the Crawley area? I take it is. How far are you casting your net for people in that part of the world?
Yeah, so we're open for collection from the web through the website, but we're also on UberEats as well. So so we're, as far as they all deliver. But yeah, so people can either collect it straight directly from us from the website or get it delivered for UberEats.
And you started today, is that right? Is it today the first day for it, last week? Sorry, okay.
Yeah, so it started last week, and towards the end of the week, we really, the numbers really started picking up, and yeah, we're hopeful it's got a good future.
Okay, Crawley Ballerz, as we said, Ballerz. If people would like to check you out and support the club, and from your point of view, in the commercial side of things, I imagine these are pretty tough times. You don't get the hugest crowds anyway, the size of the ground, etc. So. This must be pretty tough and kind of seriously pretty worrying times for clubs at your level.
Yeah, I think everybody's in the same boat. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a big, like sort of in our league in particular, League One and League Two. It doesn't matter what size of club you are. You heavily rely on your gate receipts. So obviously losing that is a big concern. When the season's curtailed, it looks like it's going to be curtailed. We're obviously very concerned about sponsors. Sort of obviously potentially asking for a refund, and I've got to say, us as a club, whether we are representative of the league wide or whether it's just us, we have been so lucky. Straight away, our main sponsors, the People's Pension, for example, said, "Look, Joe, we don't want a refund. We want to back the club," and that's gone throughout all of our sponsors. They've all pretty much said, "You need our money more than us at the minute. Keep it," and that's all gone out to our fans as well. That the response we've got of, "We don't want our money back. Keep the refund." So actually, the harm it could have done, it's still going to do some harm, but it's not going to do as much harm to us as it could have had we have not had the support of our community. So yeah, in a lot of ways, we're quite lucky, and it's really brought everybody together, which is great.
Good to hear. Good stuff, Joe. Look, all the best with the takeaway business, and as I said, if it's bringing in revenue for the club that you can spend on players, then keep it going after all this is over.
Exactly that. That's the plan.
Nice one. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.